July 8th, 2013. Saw an interesting documentary today. Actually didn't see the whole thing. Had to stop after an hour and run and do some errands. But it was mostly on the 1915 Armenian Genocide. Had a lot of documentation of survivors. I think it was estimated 1 to 1.5 million people were killed. I think it lasted from, I think they're showing from 1915 to 1923, because the first wave they came through and they grabbed all the men and boys and held them away to camps and slaughtered them. And then they took all the remaining women and children and marched them out of what is present-day Turkey. It's called the Armenian Massacre, Armenian Genocide, and it really wasn't acknowledged or noted for because it's just a different part of the world, and at that point we didn't really know the word genocide. It wasn't until some of the trials in the 1940s, after the Nazi mass genocides, that it was coined. Someone they finally brought the one guy to, the way they say theirs, they finally brought the one guy that was in control to trial. And the guy who brought him to trial coined the word genocide. So in history books, it's the first mass extermination of a race or people of this century, or actually it was last century, the 20th century. And it was just interesting because in the documentary it had a lot of System of a Down, because they are, and I didn't know this, but they are Armenian. All four of them are of Armenian descent. So the two leaders formed the band because they were raised in an Armenian school and known each other since then, and put together this band. So the one song I play at the end is called Genocide. Actually, it's a different word attached to it, but we're going to say it's genocide. And it was just very, very interesting and informational. I think through history, and as they compared it to like the modern day Nazi extermination, just masses of people. And you have to look at that part of the world. Constantinople was where that government was kind of the Ottoman Empire. So I didn't go back too much through the history, but it led up to that point. And since then, and the First World War was going on, so there was just a lot of stuff, a lot of fighting going on over there. So they kind of wrong people got into power, and usually when they do, then they take on themselves to follow through on what they see fit. So it was just interesting. Like I said, I still got like 30 minutes. TJ and I was watching it because it popped up on my screen when I was watching some System of a Down. I was watching some of their live concerts, and then usually when you watch YouTube, after you watch something, then it pops up and shows related material or similar material, and it had the documentary listed with their name to the side. So when I started watching, I thought it'd be interesting, and TJ said he'd watch it with me. So we had time today and pulled it up and started watching it, which was really good. I think the singer's grandfather was there and had given a verbal testimony, evidently some years ago, because now he was kind of not very vocal. He had a hard time speaking. Of course, it showed like he was not born in 1909, so he would have been like 6 years old at the time. But he recalled seeing his father being taken away in chains, and they had some pretty brutal pictures. I mean, you could see on the documentation that they did bring up that it was pretty horrific. And then after that, like I said, after they hauled away the man and the boys, man and the young and the boys, then the women and children, they marched. And they marched, it was saying, looking on Wikipedia there, that they marched them out of like the present day Turkey, their homeland, through the Syrian desert, without food and water, and a lot of them passed away. There's stories of how they steep mountains and stuff, and like normal, treated, just died along the way. One of the band members said, whether it was the Armenians or the Jews or even the American native peoples, the mass slaughter of people that live in their own homeland and driven away from their natural birthright territories and shoved. And it kind of reminded me of the Trail of Tears and how mass peoples were escorted out of their land through brutal environments and stuff, and that speaks a lot. You can relate. So very, very interesting. If you get a chance, pull it up. Just under System of a Down / documentary, and it will pull it up for you. So interesting show, and still gonna watch some of that. Other than that, I'm going to click off here. Delivering computers and picking up computers and working on the car. So even on the day off, got tons of stuff going on. But have a little time to relax and watch the show. But here's System of a Down. This is their first self-titled CD. So some of their earlier material, which is more rougher, but very outspoken. I guess what they showed was they had a benefit concert, and this is from that concert. It was like 90 years after the date of the anniversary. So 1915, 90 years later. So it's just a few years ago that they got together, and they speak. A lot of people were praising them because it is not. I think there's like 20 countries around the world that acknowledge that it did happen, but the country as a whole has yet to recognize, Turkey as a whole has yet to fully admit to that it did happen. Kind of like what they say, there was no Holocaust, it didn't happen. So there's a lot of people still speaking out in the history books and stuff like that. So it's just interesting to hear on how people try to bring it to people's attention. So they really gave System of a Down applause for writing about it and speaking about it, and since they're on a national platform, being more vocal, since it is part of their heritage, being more vocal about it. So here we go. System of a Down. 2 weeks from now. July 8th, 2013. 1.5 million.